I'm Anthony and this is Will, right behind the camera. This is Reptilian Death Race. And one thing we're going to be talking about today is how to care for a snake when it gets sick. And even though the snakes are mostly cool, especially the morphs, one thing you have to make sure is you have to be able to take care of it when it's sick. Because when it comes to the morphs, it seems like they're a little bit more prone to being sick. If it's not the humidity, it's the heat. If it's not the heat, it's where it's living at. And you just have to make sure you can take care of it, and when it gets sick, you gotta make sure you gotta get it better. Now what we got here is basically a very, very weak supplement of iodine. And what we have to do with this is we have to put in the water, maybe a drop, maybe about 2. But we have to make sure when it's done, it looks kind of like a weak tea. And then also right here, she's got a little problem with the scales on top of her head. For some reason, she's getting real irritated, possibly stressed out. And we have to put this on her so that way it'll get better. Also, too, we had to get a shot put into her. It was
Baytro.
Alright, let's get this butter out.
I think she's right up there.
Right here. Okay. Alright, and this is what's known as a butter ball python morph. As you can see on her head, it's getting pretty not too good looking right there. And then not only does she has a respiratory infection, she's got built up bacteria in her mouth, and you can kind of hear maybe how she's wheezing up. But we also have to take care of the rot mouth that she has due to the bacteria in her mouth. And to do this, just put it around my neck for a second. That might be too much.
Actually, that looks about... It's a little dark. It should look like a weak tea. But for now, that'll be good. So we'll use... Well, that honestly looks about perfect. About a weak tea. Alright, let's get this girl treated.
Alright, so what we have to do... She's being a little feisty right now.
Oh, don't tip that shit over.
You can see some of the gunk in her mouth. Yeah, it's not looking too good, but hopefully she'll be getting back better. After all, she is one of the plan we breed on. Oh, look at that. She's not liking it too much.
Here, I'll help hold her body. Oh god, she is having a fit.
There, you get her right there. You gotta make sure you get this all over her mouth. Inside of it, all over the bacteria. Don't want to use that end because there's a small hair on it. Alright.
They're not going to like this very much, so if you can have another person hold it, it's advised, because even though the snake isn't very big, she is very powerful, and it is hard to hold on to her. She's not liking it very much, but neither would I. Now this is for the bacteria in her mouth. For the respiratory infection was the Baytril shot they gave to her in her side. Right now we're just trying to clean up some of the bacteria in her mouth and on the underside of her mouth. And then we'll show you how to clean the top of her head where she's been rubbing it real bad for some cause. And it got infected with the bacteria. So we'll show you that here in a second.
You can also see underneath her jaw it's starting to get like that too. And if you ever have a snake like this that has multiple signs of where it's infected at, make sure you use different cotton swabs, because you don't want to spread that different bacteria to where it's already infected at.
So now we're going to go to the top of her head.
I think I already used that sign.
Get a new swab. We're just going to just lightly get it all cleaned off before we put the cream on her.
It'll be quite a while before she shows signs of getting better on the top of her head, because they'll gradually get better after each shed. And what you have to really be careful is, like how Will said, you have to be careful about not rubbing it too hard, because if you take those scales off, it's going to just get worse and worse, so just be as careful as you can. Alright, we're just going to let her go for a second. Now we have to worry about the cream. She's got all the weakened iodine all over the infected places, so it's just time to get that cream to heal her scales up.
She's a very sick snake right now, but we're getting it handled. Hopefully she'll be good here in about a month. We hopefully get the respiratory infection fixed by then, but as for the top of her head, it might take a while. And right now she's not liking us. We've just invaded her privacy.
Here, hold this real quick.
And with this cream, you just put a very, very light coating on top of it. Like, don't like cake it on there. Just make sure it's a real good light but full coverage. So we got her pinned down. Gonna give her a good cream. You can check on what the name was. Earlier on the video it says silver sulfidines. It's basically like a burn ointment that they use on burn victims. Contact your local vet to get a hold of it. That's about the best place to go through. And also with respiratory infections, I've heard nebulizing them with F10 works. We haven't tried it yet, but basically all you do is you dilute F10 in a bottle of water solution and put it through a mister or a fogger, and you let them sit in it for 20 minutes and then take them out, and you have to do that every day for about 12 treatments if you catch it early enough, and that usually helps them.
Alright, that's our conclusion with working with sick snakes. This is Anthony, and thank you for visiting our website.